Started.
All right, so we're joined from Ridgeland by the owner, founder, brand ambassador, Miss Everything over there at SheIs 3125 on Highway 51 in Ridgeland, the amazing Elisha Roberts-Turner. Just absolute entrepreneurial genius. We're in the business administration career cluster. I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson, and we're recording this for our friends at Rosa Scott, Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, and the Academic Options Center, as well as our YouTube channel. So we thank you so much for doing this today.
Thank y'all so much for having me
Oh,
again.
now, as always, now, like we were just saying, being an entrepreneur is a big part of this career cluster. And we have so many young people that say they want to own their own business, they want to work for themselves. And even if I got some young men in here with me today, and even though you're a female run and oriented business, a lot of these principles are going to be the same when it comes to running a business. Obviously, you're going to be selling different things, but at the end of the day, you really are putting in all the work. Now, before we get into what all it is you do at the store and on the website, tell us a little bit about your background, because you are from the area, and how all this came about.
My name is, like he stated, my name is Elisha Roberts-Turner. I am from Jackson, Mississippi. I'm from the west side of Jackson. Graduated from Jim Hill High School, class of 2005. I left and went to Hines, and I did 1 year at Hines, and I felt like there was something in me that I'm not going to say school couldn't teach, but that I could learn on a faster pace because of what was in me. So I launched my business to the public in 2020. I think I studied for a year. So I got my LLC around 2019 for my first business. And then I launched in 2020. Then I got my second LLC for my second business in 2020.
Yeah, and you guys have a very easy to find location right there in Ridgeland. So tell us a little
Mhm.
about your store, because obviously it's a female oriented boutique, but it's not just to one type of female. If you go to your website, you've got multiple body sizes, you've got multiple ethnicities, so it really is something for any type of female to buy that wants to look good.
Yes, I have a clothing boutique here in Ridgeland on 51, and we cater to women's sizes extra small all the way to a 3X. We have shoes and accessories, and we have a lot of little small knickknacks. I do have males that come in from time to time. Either they're getting themselves candles, because I do sell candles, or they're getting something for a special someone, whether it's a girlfriend, wife, mom, mother-in-law. So we kind of cater to that group of area. Our slogan is all things cute, classy, and chic. We are Christian based, faith based. It is called SheIs 3125, which derives from Proverbs. She is clothed in strength and in dignity, and she prepares herself for the future.
Yeah, and along those lines as well, we see a lot of the fun side of this type of business, because obviously there's a lot of stuff on Instagram, on TikTok of the modeling. Look how cute I look in this. But
Yeah.
it's a lot more than just being able to model the clothes and smile for the camera. There's a lot of behind the scenes things that I think young people don't understand that goes into entrepreneurship, because you and your sister basically do everything over there, and you have to handle everything, the stuff that's not as fun. You got to be able to know the bookkeeping and be able
Yeah.
to handle all the taxes and licensing. So talk about some of behind the scenes stuff that you had to learn before you ever open the doors.
So if I'm honest, the behind the scenes part, if I had a chance to do it all over again, that's something that I would have learned first. So when you have a passion for something, or when you're good at something, it's always good to do just that, right? But there's things that I didn't know that's very important in order to keep my business going. So because I had and still do have a love for fashion, picking out clothes and stuff like that, or buying the product for the store wasn't hard for me, but you have to know how to buy the product. I started out just getting things that I liked. Oh, I'd be cute in it. I'd be cute in it. But you just can't think about you. You have to think about other customers. So it's important. Last night, early this morning, I have a newborn. I have a 5-month-old, and she woke up around 3:30. Well, I'm that person. If I wake up, I can't go back to sleep. So instead of me just staying up, which I would normally do and stroll on social media, what I did was I took a course last night, well, this morning, and I didn't go back to sleep till around 6:30, 7 o'clock. But I took an online course, and you have to keep yourself updated and educated on everything, because you have to know what's the newest style, what's the newest colors coming out, what's the most popular. We know that right now the most popular colors is going for the holiday. Yes, we're already prepared for the holiday. You have to shop months in advance. So the
Yeah.
new colors for the holiday is your metallics. That's what's in right now. So you have to stay ahead, and you cannot just think about yourself. So right now I'm upstairs in my warehouse, and I'm doing office work. And so I'm planning content. If you all see, I love creating content on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And so, but you just can't go out there and just post a video. You have to research the algorithm, and you find a cute little TikTok trend or a reel or something like that. It may be cute to you, but you need to check the algorithm for your particular niche and see if
Yeah.
it does well for you. Because just because it did well for a young person who was dancing in their kitchen with their parent, it may not do well for you selling clothes. So you have to make it fit whatever it is that you're doing. So it's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I can sell clothes and make thousands of dollars a day, but I have to run that report at the end of the week, sometimes at the end of the day, to see how much taxes I took out on my customers, because I can't keep that. I have to send that over. So
Right.
you have to know how to do your numbers. If you pay $10 for something, you have to know how much do you sell it to your clients, so that you can make a profit. You can't sell it for $20, because out of that $10 profit, you have taxes you have to pay and all the things that it takes to make your business, to make your boutiques. If you had to sponsor an ad, you may see sponsor ads on social media. That cost. If my customer come in the store, I just can't give them the product. I have to bag it. I have to have a system, a POS system, point of sale system to run that. Well, I have to pay for that. So you have to take in consideration all of these back end things before you're able to price what you're going to sell people. So starting out, it looked like I was making good money, but I was hurting myself because I was only doing 50%. So it's a lot of back end stuff that you have to learn when creating your business to make it profitable for you, to make sure that you're covering your overhead and all else that makes up for your business.
Yeah, and along those same lines, we've had several students here at Velma Jackson that have started businesses while they were in school or right after they graduated. And 9 times out of 10, they may have a great concept, a great branding, but I'll tell them immediately, you're not charging enough. You can't be it's like you said, you can't be like, I would pay this or my friends would pay this. If you really want to take your business to the next level, you got to research your market and see who's going to be buying it. Because if people are going to pay for something, why not charge it? Don't try to undersell yourself, because then, like you said, you overwork yourself and you don't have that profit that we all dream of.
And you have to understand too, I know y'all young. I think it was a little reel on what was it? Instagram. The price is the price, right? The price is the price. Don't allow anybody to tell you what your price is. Don't allow them to say, well, you may be a good baker, you may be baking different desserts and stuff. Well, that's too much. Well, guess what? That's not your customer. And it's okay, because you define who you are. You don't allow your customers to do that, because once you give them a good product, it's going to be the reviews that help. They need to know that I had that issue when I raised my prices. Oh, that's too expensive. That's too expensive. But then if you go and Google us, the reviews speak for itself. I choose quality over quantity. So no, you will not be able to come in my store and pick up a $25 set. And I'm okay with those who don't want to do that, because I have customers who will do that. And you just have to learn your customer base and know what they will and will not pay for. But it's also the way you present it, and it's also the way that you package it and you make it look. So it's a lot into that as well.
Yeah, and you and your sister, y'all always are wearing your apparel. Like everywhere y'all go, you'll always have it on. If somebody asks, "Oh, this is ours at our store," you got to come pick it up. So you can be a walking billboard for
You
yourself.
are a walk. You
Y'all are
should
both great
always.
brand, and y'all are different, and y'all are different sizes. So
Yes.
y'all really show off the different sizes of apparel that you carry.
Yes, you should be a walking billboard. I went and got my tag personalized in case y'all see me. It says she is. And I get a lot of people saying, what is that? That's my opportunity to pitch my niche to them, to pitch my business to them based off my car tag. I got these shirts. I'm getting these shirts made, and it's just a plain white shirt with a QR code on it. Because why? People can be a little nosy. So somebody's gonna scan the back of my shirt just to see what it is. Once they scan it, it takes you to my link tree where it has everything there is to know about me. So you have to learn how to pitch yourself, even if you're not the talker, even if you're shy, you have to figure out a way to pitch yourself because it goes a long way. And attitude goes a long way. You have to have a positive attitude. There's no such thing as having good days and bad days when you're an entrepreneur, especially if you have if you have a brick and mortar, which is a storefront location. I can't choose to have a good or a bad day because that's my review, and a bad review will sink your business as quick as 15 reviews made it rise. So you also have to keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, especially with the rise of influencers, you never know who could be in there giving you the bad review. Now I do want to talk about that location because y'all do a lot of online sales, which is, you have your warehouse there and you have trouble even keeping everything in stock. But you did a lot of research on where you were going to be located, and it's a very easy to find location. But when I was in there, we had this conversation about you wanted to make sure everybody would come there, people of all races, all income levels. And even though you've dealt with some pushback, you and your sister
Yeah.
have both talked about, people coming there. Y'all so bougie, y'all charging too much, or you'll have white people come in there and say, "Are y'all employees? Who's the owner?" And they're shocked that you're the owner. So you deal with both sides of that, but yet y'all are still doing great. So talk a little bit about what went into choosing that particular location, because there's probably some cheaper locations that you could pay less rent at, but it wouldn't be as profitable.
Well, I would say this. If you are looking to own a business and you're looking for a brick and mortar, a storefront location, do your research on the particular thing that you're doing. For me, in the boutique industry, there's this such thing called zip code protected. So there are certain brands that I cannot carry because of the Renaissance. They have to be like within a certain radius. So like outside of that
Wow.
radius, you can't sell certain items. Now, I do have three particular brands that I carry that I was told that I could not carry. I was told that I couldn't carry them because of the Renaissance. Well, you have to understand that in this industry, the people that you're on the phone with, they don't know how far the Renaissance is from me. They don't know
Yeah.
how far North Park Mall is from me. They just hear the city, Ridgeland. They see the zip is the same and they say no. So I went a little further and I got a map made. Well, I just went on Google. I didn't get it made. I got a map to show how far the Renaissance is from me. I also had that tough conversation. If we're honest, there's not a lot of African American owned stores, Black owned stores in the Renaissance. So the question and the hard conversation that I had to have with them was, hey, give my people an opportunity. It's some people who will not go to the Renaissance, not just Black people, but it's some people who will not shop in a Renaissance because they say their prices are too high. But it depends. Your prices also depends on where you are. Township is the same way because their rent is much higher than mine. But they also have more employees, so that's overhead that you're looking at. So I had to have those conversations like, hey, give people who are in this tax bracket an opportunity to see these same items, because when I'm sold out of something, I don't say, well, I don't know where else you can get it from. I'm gonna send you to my mentors. I'm gonna send you to people like Jordan Dotley, at the Glustek exit who's still in close proximity to me. I'm gonna send you to her if I don't have it. I'm gonna send you to Whitney, who owns Material Girls in Highland Park. I'm gonna send you to those people, but at least you had an opportunity to see what it looks like and to see what it feels like, what it fit like. And if I don't have it, that's somewhere else you can shop. But a lot of people don't know that. So please do your research, because honestly, it's not too many places that I can move to from here that I'll be able to carry certain brands. So it's best that I can kind of get all the brands while I'm here before I think about moving. So I have a 5-year lease. So the best thing that I can do in those 5 years is go to market, take full advantage of knowing different vendors. You will not know them sitting behind your desk at your computer. You have to get out and attend these markets, which are free. You're just paying to fly and to stay, right? You have to go to those markets to see these different vendors to even know about them. So in these 5 years, I have to take full advantage of learning other brands and who I can and cannot carry before I make my next move.
Yeah, and that's all about doing your research as a business. A lot of times people just open the doors and they haven't done proper research, and they're hit with fines. Then they get cease and desist letters. Then they've spent all this money on merchandise that they can't sell, and they're closed before you know it. And that's actually, unfortunately, a very common tale. But if you do your research on the front end, it's amazing how much profitable you can be. And then something else that you guys offer, you have that one-on-one experience with the customer. Some customers, they're unsure about things. They want that human interaction. Nothing against those stores in the Renaissance, but those big corporate stores, they got a lot of customers. You really can't get that customer interaction that you would get at your place.
Yes, we do offer VIP services. So we're open Monday through Saturday. But the hours that we're open is 10 to 7 on Friday. Saturday is 10 to 6, and Sunday we're closed. However, our VIP services allow one to call and book a consultation to come into the store, whether it's prior to 10, or if it's after 7 or after 6, or if it's at a time on a Sunday that we're not here. So we do offer those services because a lot of our clientele, they work different shifts where they cannot come during the times that we're open. So again, that's catering to the people who support you.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you always have to remember, one thing I always say is, you need the customers more than the customers need you. So you have to give them a reason to come back. It's always what I call the perceived value. If they know they're getting their money's worth, they don't mind paying a little extra. If they know you're gonna, they set up a personalized appointment for me, and I was able to go in there and shop with just them. As silly as that may sound, people will pay a lot of money for that.
Yes, I literally just got a review, so you'll have to show them once that it's done. It's on my Facebook page, actually. And a customer was sitting, this was her second time shopping with me. She was in the middle of getting her lashes done, and she called me on the lash table and was like, listen, I have to be somewhere at 3 o'clock. I have nothing to wear. I need something. I'm sorry to even, because she videoed me from Facebook. She does not have my personal number. And she said, hey, I need something because I have to be somewhere at 3. And this was Saturday. And I said, okay, I'll see you when you get here. We had customers like crazy, but I had already set aside a few items. My sister and I pulled her a few items in the store. They were already in the dressing room. So when she walked through the door, all I said was go to dressing room number 1. It was already ready for her. She literally tried on the first outfit. I cut the tags out, and she walked out of here with that outfit. And she purchased everything else that was already in the dressing room. So I could have put one outfit in there because she was going to probably more than likely get it anyway because I knew her size, right? But because I gave her options, and because of the customer service, where it could have cost her less than $100 for that purchase, she spent way more than that just because of the service. Turned around, gave us a review on social media, tagged us into it. And because of that, I checked the algorithm. We got so many sales just based off of her comment or her post, because other people who had that same experience within the store started commenting on it. So you have to be mindful of the experience that you give. Don't just sell a product, sell an experience, because that's what's going to keep your customers coming back.
Yeah, and you know, you hear people say, well, if I'm gonna start a business, I'm gonna go to Atlanta, I'm gonna go to Miami. And you know, it's something that you can do right here. You're right down the street. You don't have to go in these big cities where you think all the money is. There's money to be made right here in the Jackson area.
And you have to understand, with that mindset, you have to think like this. If you think all your customers are going to be people where you're from, then you're already starting off wrong. Majority of my business is online based, and they are not really here. You know, I have a lot of customers here, but I also have a lot of customers around the world. So I don't just think about people here when it comes to support, because I'm sending orders different places all the time. So
That's awesome. Well, I do have some questions from the students. I'll get to as many of these as I can. And these are all ninth graders. This
okay.
person is Marcus Newell. He's a member of our band here. And he asked, what is the biggest mistake you made in starting your business and how did it affect your business?
Not learning my back end. And the way it affected me is because it was a whole lot of stuff that's more important that I didn't know. So all I was doing was just buying stuff, right? I was what they say, cashing out. I was just buying clothes, y'all. I was buying clothes. I was buying all this stuff, and I was buying it for me. And I didn't learn my back end. So, and what I mean about learning the back end, it's when these products come in, go ahead and put them in a system, because what happens is a lot of my stuff got lost. Not, I mean, you forget about it because you're ordering so much stuff. I have an upstairs home, so I started online November 2020. I bought this location the next month. All those sales
Wow.
um, helped me get this space. The very next month, I did not want a storefront, right? Did not want that at all. But that's what it did for me. And because I didn't learn my back end, I had so many clothes and all this stuff I didn't know about. I didn't know about the tax part of it. I didn't know about the different systems that I needed to generate. I didn't know all of these things. I didn't study that part of it. I just studied like going to California and studying the different brands. I didn't study the back end. And that's things that I still to this day take courses and classes on learning how to up my niche. We just launched yesterday a rewards program. These are things that you want to learn on the front end, because now I got to make it sweet, because somebody gonna say I spent thousands of dollars with you, and now you want to launch this program. So you have to be prepared for that and how to properly respond to that as well. So I would
Yeah, and
say
that's
the
a
biggest
great
thing is back.
yeah, and that's a great segue to this next question. This is Jakethia Brown, and she asked, what are the biggest challenges you face when it comes to customers?
Um, you all would have to actually see the store. And what I get a whole lot of, a lot of people come in and think that it's a white-owned boutique. And so I will get those people, because I am next door to a salon. I will get customers who would come in, and some of them won't give you an opportunity based on how you look. But it's once you open your mouth, and it's the way you communicate. Again, it's the experience. It will make or break you. And not everybody will still shop with you, but at least when they leave, they can't say I was rude, I was nasty, or anything like that. So the challenge is being able to get other ethnicities and even cultures to come in and give us an opportunity.
Yeah, and but that also goes back to, you know, you picked a great location. So there's going to be foot traffic where even if they never saw you online, they'll see
Yes,
your storefront and say, hey, let me go check it out.
yes.
This is a good question. This is Caden Myers, one of our football players here. And he asked,
Okay.
what is your favorite part about running your own business?
I can control my schedule.
Yeah.
Um, but also I meet, so I'm a people's person. So I meet so many people, and I'm gonna tell you about that. The people that I meet has been a power, it's powerful. That's a really good question. I'm able to, with me being the owner, you know how you have a job and a customer come in, they're like, you can't talk to that customer for a good length of time because you at work, you need to get back to work. Well, I get to control how long or how short I talk to a customer. And sometimes the more I talk to a customer, the more I get to know them. And you never know who you're going to meet. We're now about to introduce embroidery to our business.
Oh, wow.
I invested into an embroidery machine in 2020, y'all. Listen, didn't know how to thread a needle, right? So I took these classes. All of this was in the pandemic because that was the second business that I opened, which was that monogram place. And so, long story short, I had a customer come in 2 weeks ago on a Friday. We got to talking. She's now is going to teach me how to use my embroidery machine that I paid so much money for. But what's good about it is because of her experience, she's going to teach me how to use that machine absolutely free. And that's going to generate even more, coming into the store. But had I not owned my own store, I may have not been able to talk to her the length of time that I was able to do that. And the flexibility that owning your own business gives you.
Yeah, it is very flexible, and I think that's a big selling point. But at the end of the day, if something's got to get done, you got to be the one to take care of it. You don't have,
Although it's flexible, I literally work 24/7. Although it's flexible, but I was up working 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning. So although it's flexible, don't think you're gonna quit your 8 to 5 to work. You gonna quit your 8 to 5 to work 24/7.
Exactly.
Still have the flexibility though.
This is a good question. This is Micaiah Luckett, one of our basketball players here, and she asked,
Okay.
"Do you see yourself opening more stores or any other future developments?"
Yeah, so we're gonna launch the embroidery place to the general public, but we're gonna also have it under the umbrella first here and foremost. So yes, I am already looking for another location. So customers will have you build that. Okay. So depending on your customer service, depending on the experience that you have, that's going to build you. And the reason I say that is because you all can go and look at, I did a WLBT review interview one time, and I don't mind sharing it because I shared it there, but we also own a medical facility, and I wanted some extra money and I wanted to do it on my own, right? So I literally prayed and I said, God, just listen, all I want to make is $4,000 a month, and that'll be good for me. Like, that'll be good for me. And I tell people all the time, if you want to hear God laugh, tell him the plans that you have for yourself, right? So I said, listen, if you give me $4,000 a month, I'd be able to get my dream truck. I'd be able to go shopping, little stuff. That was just extra because we already had another business, right? So I would never forget. That's all I asked him for. I launched November 1st at 7 o'clock. I'm sorry, November 1st at 1 o'clock. At 1:07, 7 minutes after we launched, I had already made $700. So that was $100 an hour. By 4 o'clock, what I asked God to give me in a month, I had already made. So by the end of the month, the numbers, I ain't gonna tell you those numbers, but the numbers were crazy. And it was crazy enough for me to say, I have to open a storefront. So literally the very next month, which was in December, I signed my lease for my store. We built it from scratch as far as the inside. And we did that from scratch. And then I think maybe 4 or 5 months later, I purchased a warehouse, which is right next door and upstairs.
Wow. That's awesome. I've got one more from the students. This is Michaela Dawson, one of our cheerleaders here.
Hey.
And she asked, what day-to-day skills would I need to learn if I wanted to run my own clothing business?
What day-to-day skills? The first thing you said her name was Michaela?
Yes.
Okay. The first thing that I would say is get you a mentor that's in the industry that you would like to be in. Get you a mentor. I do have a lot of mentees, but there's a lot of things that you have to learn. And I think you need to first start with a mentor to really get hands-on and see if this is something that you want to do, because too often we have people start a business and then they don't do it no more after a few months because they don't realize the amount of work that you have to put into it. So the first thing I would do is literally find you a mentor that's in the exact same industry that you're trying to do. Your other day-to-day things, I would say, is always stay updated. Um, Stay updated with all the things that's in your niche that you can use to grow your business. So for me, I have as much time as it takes. I literally have to stay up to date on reels. I have to stay up to date on the latest fashions. You all hear about the New York Fashion Week and all that. You have to look into that. You have to stay up to date with everything, not just up to date, but I'm gonna show you this book. Hold on. Up to date. So this is I hope you all can see it. These are my work binders, right? And as thick as they are, I'm a part of a boutique. It's called the Boutique Club. I'm a part of the Boutique Club. And they actually show you how to stay up to date. And what I mean about staying up to date, your strategies and all of that, it tells you on one of the pages you're planning. And it shows you how up to date that you should be. So this month is September. We're in September. And this is already telling me that I need to be working on, which we've already started, my Pink Friday, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday collections, my sales events, and my Columbus Day sales. We all know that that's far off, right? Not really, but kind of, right? But it's telling me that by the end of September, I should already be done with the sales and everything that I'm going to do. What happens is it keeps you updated and you always want to stay ahead of whatever you got, because I just had a baby. I was hospitalized 23 times with my last pregnancy, right? But if you're up to date in the event that you get sick, you have to be out of work or whatever, your content and everything else that you have doesn't stop. Because if you are not consistent, you don't make sales. So even though you're sick, you're still able to post the content because you've already pre-did it. And that's what you'll learn when you go to market. When I get ready to go to the next market, I'm shopping for spring 24 and summer 24. Wow. So you always want to stay ahead so that in the event that something happens, you're not lost in the sauce.
Yeah. And on top of that, during COVID, we had the supply chain issues. So if you already have your inventory, you're not waiting on it to get there, and then you don't have anything to sell. So it really is so important to stay ahead of that no matter what industry you're in.
That's right.
Now, we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much, as always, for joining us. But before we go, a couple things. One, tell us where to find you right there in Ridgeland and on your website and on social media.
Okay, we are located at 610 Highway 51, Suite E, as in Elisha, in Ridgeland 39157. If you look us on Instagram or Facebook, it's the @ and SheIs 3125. Or if you want to follow my not crazy TikToks and crazy Instagram posts, that's the @ Forever Elisha. And that's the number 4. And then like the word ever, the number 4, EVER, and then Elisha, ELISHA. And you'll see me on Instagram.
Yeah, and then your location is right next to Super Shakes, one of my favorite places.
Super Shakes, yes.
On Highway 51, very easy to find. So yeah, I encourage everybody to go check it out and check out your website. But before we go, you're Jackson Public Schools. You're right here. You grew up in the same area. You grew up as a young Black girl in Mississippi, but yet you become a successful entrepreneur despite all kind of obstacles. So even if these kids don't want to get into the clothing business, we got some young men here that might be interested in entrepreneurship of a different industry, but they can still do it because you're a walking, talking example of it. What can they do now to start taking those steps to become a successful entrepreneur?
Get a mentor. Get yourself a mentor, and make sure that your mentor is one who pushes you and holds you accountable. Be mindful of your circle, the people that you surround yourself with. Because you can be guilty by association and people won't support you just because of who's connected to you. We always say, my husband always say this as well, you come into this world looking like your parents, but you leave this world looking like your choices. So
Wow.
be mindful of the people you surround yourself with, and understand this too. A lot of people will be connected right now to this version of you. They will be connected to this, the person you are right now. Some of the people that's connected to you are connected to you because of who you are at this point in your life, right? But when
Wow.
you get a mentor and you begin to focus and you hone into your business and what you're trying to do and making yourself a better person, those people, it's going to seem like they're jealous. It's going to seem like they don't want to support you. And I promise you, it's not that. It's just that they're not able to connect to the new you. They still want to be connected to the person who was stagnant, wasn't growing, wasn't focused, wasn't doing what it was that they needed to do to be a better version of them. So understand that elevation requires separation. So the more you try to elevate yourself, the more you get better and all this stuff, listen, those people will separate themselves and you don't have to. But if you are serious, what grade are your students?
Everybody in here is ninth grade.
Ninth grade. This is when you need to hone into it, because do your research and start, because college may not be for you, right? It may not be for you at that moment. It may not be for you at all. But what you need to understand is that you will determine where you go. And your circle will determine how far you go. Because
Absolutely.
my circle are all better than me. I'm the weakest link in my circle, and it will forever stay like that. Because they're not intimidated by me. They're teaching me. If I become the strongest link in my circle, I'm in the wrong circle.
Wow.
So always make sure that you're the weakest link, because you're growing from them. You want to be sure that the people that you surround yourself with, you can grow something. You can grow in some way, or you can learn something from them.
That's awesome. Great advice. I'm gonna use that quote forever. I'm gonna use that one. So stolen. I just claimed it. So again, Elisha Roberts-Turner right there in Ridgeland, Highway 51. Go check her out. SheIs3125.com. SheIs3125 right there in Ridgeland. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, I enjoyed it. I cannot wait to meet y'all.
Well, yeah, we'll have to have you on campus sometime later this year. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so
I
much.
I see you, buddy.
All right.